Okay, Matt.
All right, ready?
The septic permit number or the building?
It's recording.
This is the Real Estate and Open Space Committee meeting of July 21st, 2023. The committee went into executive session at 8:30, and we have now returned to regular session, and I will call for anyone. New business. Because this is our first meeting since July 1, we need to vote for reorganization of this committee. So we will need nominations for chair, vice chair, and clerk. Do I hear a nomination
I think lawyers overthink things once in a while, but.
for the chair? Don't you dare.
I think that.
Which you two ladies are gonna nominate the other?
I don't know what she wants, so.
Well,
Ask them and find out.
just make a nomination. Just nominate, and then we'll discuss. What has to get voted on?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make a nomination to nominate Elaine Chauvelin as chair.
I second the motion.
I did go online to the registry.
All in
just to make
favor?
sure that That's
Aye.
what was
Aye.
filed, and that's.
Aye.
Thank you. We need a motion
Exhibit A and B probably
to
represent
nominate, or we need to nominate a vice chair.
Maybe that's.
I would like to nominate Kathy Green as vice chair.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Now, a nomination for clerk.
I nominate Carol Porter for clerk.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Does she accept?
Carol, will you?
I accept, yeah.
You-
I was
you
sticking around.
didn't.
All in favor?
Yeah, you didn't have a choice.
But they already knew. They already talked.
You know.
Aye.
So all in favor?
Aye.
We're good.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Well, thank you for, you know, giving the effort. I know it's a big effort, and I really appreciate that.
I,
But you do a good job of
well,
it, too.
well,
We
thank
wouldn't
you,
nominate you,
but-
vote.
Yeah, but it's by default, because nobody else.
Yeah.
But not for long. At some point, we need to change over at some point. It's always
I
good
don't
to.
feel strongly one way
You
or
were
the
what,
other.
you were chair for 5 years?
I'm only.
Yeah, and I think I'm coming up on that, so, yeah, it's time. So, serious thought.
Okay.
Whoever, might be interested, they can be assured that myself, Kathy, and it would always bring you up to speed and kind of mentor you and get you, but, really.
But maybe we could bring in a new member this year
That's
that we
exactly
can
what I was
have
thinking.
room.
That's exactly what I
That
was.
was one
Room
of-
for the position.
That was another thing that's
Yeah.
gonna come up in my chair's report, so, yeah. Okay, now, we need to nominate and approve our representative to the Community Preservation Committee.
I'm fine with that too.
Need a nomination?
Can I just say something?
Sure.
Sure. Anybody is welcome to take that position, and it's very interesting. You learn a lot about what's going on in the town. I highly recommend it for those of you who want to get your finger on the pulse. So anybody's welcome to take that position.
Thank you, Kathy. But, do we have,
I nominate Kathy, because she has done such a great job. And this is one of the costs of doing a great job, is you keep, you
I
know.
second
I-
that
and-
nomination.
And I appreciate everything that you do, because
And Jen
I
won't
have
be
it in
okay.
other organizations, and I would volunteer, because I think it would be a very interesting committee, but I just
Thank
do
you very
not
much.
have the time.
yeah. And we have a second from Marcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got it. Like I said, I never learn from my kids. Screw up the job, they'll never ask you to do it again. You gotta have a lot
Yeah,
of
you
stuff
gotta
that way.
screw up more.
A lot of that way. Okay, good. Yes, Kathy, you do a great job on that thing. I do watch your meetings, and, yeah, you're really, and even here too, I mean, it's obvious, you always have the great questions. You always come up to ask something that none of us, the rest of us thought to ask. And that's one of your.
Well, Mike
talents.
always thinks I'm going to go easy on him because we're friends.
No, I know.
Sometimes Mike calls me and says, "What were you thinking?" I said,
No, but you, the thing is you did have a good point
Yeah.
about certain
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That maybe he was thinking we could slide it under the, you know, so you brought that up, so that's important, because,
Well, the important thing too is we always have to remain objective.
Yeah.
Even though all of us may be involved in other
Yeah, sure, of course.
organizations and things in town, we kind of have to put that aside when we're at this meeting, make our
Right.
decisions based on that, so. And I cannot tell you how many times people have said to me, oh, I watch your meetings, your committee is so, I mean, this committee gets a lot of good, wishes about it, and congratulations on the great job that you all do,
Yeah.
so,
Great.
thank you all.
it's about
Um,
time.
No, really, we do get credit. All right,
Chair report?
Chair's report. I have attended the Affordable Housing Trust meetings, the one May 22nd, and 6/12, and 7/10. With their reorganization, it seems like they're starting to make some progress. They have their consultant, Jan Golson, from Jan Golson, who seems to have a plan, working on a plan for them. It's some things I think could have been done a few years ago, even irregardless of COVID, although that's always the excuse people use for things these days. But anyways, some of the stuff could have been done. One of the things I brought up at the last meeting, because I was not able to attend that forum that they had. Was anyone here at it? No. I wasn't able to be there, and I was disappointed that it wasn't recorded,
Oh, it wasn't recorded?
No.
Really?
really, because, well, I know at 2:04, they can record it, because they did the last forum, they
Mhm.
recorded. But they can't live broadcast from there. That they would have to do at the community center or somewhere else.
Yep.
But it could have been recorded, but apparently no one thought to make that arrangement.
You would have thought they'd want to record it for purposes of gathering information correctly for future
Right.
use.
And
Yeah.
for people like me that weren't there,
Yeah,
to see what was, it's okay to read or whatever, but to see it is,
Mhm.
but, okay, no, can't help that now. But they're working on an action plan. They are working on a 5-year plan. And the chair, Mr. Ballantyne, has again spoke to the town administrator at the last meeting that he is very anxious to get the RFP out for the Marceline property. He
right.
get going on that.
But did you say that they were hiring someone to do it?
So now an RFP is going out for someone to
To
write
do
the
the
RFP for the Marceline property.
Okay,
Okay, there's a process. It might not make sense to us, but apparently
Okay.
there's the person who's writing that maybe doesn't know how to. I guess an RFP for property like that is more involved than,
I'm sure it is.
Sure.
so let's let it, hopefully that will happen quickly. Also, on June 27th, which was the day of the forum, I met with Brianna Powell, the housing advocate. This was supposed to be that small group meeting that the administrator wanted, small group meetings once a month. The first meeting, it was myself representing us. It was someone from Finance Committee, and it was someone from the Housing and Housing Authority Committee. So 3 of us showed up at that first meeting. The meeting on the 27th, I was the only one that showed up, and had a nice conversation with Brianna. We did go over a lot of things, and, it's fine. But I don't know how that small group is going to continue if people aren't interested in attending the meeting.
Well, it's not really maybe an interest thing, it's time. Not everybody
Yeah,
has the time from all these different groups to
right.
participate in another meeting.
And what was the purpose of that meeting that you're speaking of?
She's the housing advocate.
Right.
And she was told to have this small group representing other committees that are involved with housing, I guess. Yeah. Also, you know, the chair of the select board, Mary Anderson, has decided very nicely to have open meeting with herself. So she and Jeff Handler were at 204 Sisson on June 20th. And it was open for anybody that wanted to stop in and chat or talk or complain or ask questions or, so naturally, I popped in. Popped in.
Naturally.
Naturally. So Mary and Jeff was there, Jeff Handler was there, and Mary, so, we chatted for a while, and what my concerns were about things going on in town and things not going on, and also, a couple other people stopped in too, to chat. So I guess she had another meeting at the library last week or something. I figured I already took up time, so I didn't go to that. I think our joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, even though it was executive session, all I will say is I think it all went very well. And I think we got very good feedback on what, that meeting and what we had done and what we had presented. So again, good work. Again, keep your eyes out for somebody to join our committee. It's hard right now to get anyone to join the committees. There's a lot of vacancies and more opening up all the time. So keep your eyes open. You see anybody you think might be interested, Marcy, especially with your real estate
I
connections.
actually do have someone I'm mentoring right now, and he's pretty active in like the antique housing and things like that. So I think he is a resident of Harwich, so I think.
Well, invite him to a meeting.
will
Yeah, invite him to a meeting, or,
present it to him.
can meet up with them, have a cup of coffee somewhere and sell it. Talk him into it. Yeah, so invite him to a meeting. That's always the best way to go. For our next meeting, of course, if anybody always has any ideas of what to put on the agenda, please, bring them up.
Can I ask a question with regards to after our joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen? What is our next sort of charge from them, or where are we with the status of the tax department and assessors and what's, where are we? Or do we not know?
We do not know, and there's my list of questions for our liaison, who was going to call me, but I haven't heard from him.
Okay, all right.
So,
Okay, so we don't know yet.
we don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't know, Dave, if you know, but I was told that Gail McAleer for the assessor's office is supposed to be working on our stuff. And
Well, they finally chose.
we can't mention anything because anything that was an executive, but in
Right,
general.
no,
general.
But Carly Jones was named, I think they call her the Director of Assessing.
Right.
So Gail's acting role has diminished and, or is no longer. And so Gail is now basically as a contract worker with the town. Carly. I did finally see Carly, but I gave her some more stuff to look into. But I don't know what the status of any of that is at this point.
Right, well, that was, one of my questions.
Okay.
And again, what do we do next? What do we do now?
Right.
My only thought was, unless we, maybe we go back to our original priority thing, the
I
one.
think we go back to our original list and see what's been
Right,
addressed
we
on
go
the
back to
original list.
And see what,
I mean,
some
if-
of them have already gone to foreclosure.
If
some
7
them-
out of 10 have been addressed, then I think we move on to give them more.
Right,
But if 2 have been addressed out of 10, then they still have some more work to do, I think, before we move on. Is that a correct assumption?
Just start
Right.
pushing that button.
Right.
so if we go back to this list, that's the one referring, not the one we just did.
I don't remember the, whatever you gave them.
Okay. Yeah, I had planned to make an appointment with the tax collector with, but of course, we were giving her time to get up to speed with.
Well, we have the two lists. We have the list, that list, which was a combination of things.
Right.
And then we have, when we talked to the Board of Selectmen, which I won't say what we talked about, but we had some priorities,
Right.
right? We had A, B, C.
Yeah, right.
And so we need to follow up and say, we want to be able to look at our list and say, okay, check,
I know.
check, check, or no checks.
And that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, those priorities were big, so that's, if they've started to address them, that'd be great. If they're putting together an RFP to hire somebody to start the process, then we need to know that too,
Yeah.
because that's sort of like puts a timeout on everything until that's ready.
I have asked,
Yeah.
and as of yet, I have not gotten
Okay.
an answer back. But you know me,
Resistant.
Be persistent.
All right, so I have a report from CPC.
yes, I was going to ask, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that our application process is totally online this year, online only. So the submission date is still beginning of October. It's October 2nd for the online submissions. Everything, like I said, is on the website. And we're hopefully that people will submit their applications sooner and not wait until, the last minute.
Right.
Because it's not necessary, you can submit at any time.
All right, so you'll be able to submit it electronically? You
Yep.
don't have to print out? and-
You will have to still do a few hard copies. That's required by law for the town clerk's office, for the library, for our records. So there will be 5 hard copies that are required, but everything else is gonna be
So
online.
you can't just get them all online and print them out yourself?
No. So October 2nd is the deadline for the online submission.
Okay.
And the process is that once it's received, it'll be time-stamped, and then it'll be put together in a PDF if there's supplemental materials, et cetera, sent back to you. And October 3rd is the deadline to submit the hard copies with your signature on it.
Okay.
But that's all in the whole packet.
So the website won't display the information as it's submitted,
No.
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 so it could,
Everything will be displayed at a later date, I guess, whenever we used
the
to.
PDFs
put-
are created and signed and.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, because we used to include them all on the website, all of the submitted applications. So,
That's something.
Well, we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
what comes up.
Well, we're hopeful.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we know we're not involved with any this year, so,
Right now. Well, I mean, to that point, I mean, in executive session, we were asked to consider supporting funding in certain amounts for some projects, right? We still have the month of August and September. We don't know if maybe somebody would come to us, for support of an affordable housing project
Support is
using
one thing, but I mean, as
CPC
being,
funds.
as
Well,
being the project manager.
As being a
then-
sponsor.
Yeah.
right,
No,
yeah.
it doesn't look that way for us.
But I think we just need to be mindful of that,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Do you know how much is in
the bucket.
the bucket for now?
Well, all I can say is that we did get the land grant for the Copeland's property, the 400,000. And that was supposed to be coming into the coffers, so to speak, by the end of June. So that's $400,000 that goes back into open space,
Yeah.
plus whatever, would go in this year from this year's or this next year's 10% allocation, which is at least, let's say, 150,000. So I think it would be safe to say that open space has at a minimum 550,000. Because of that land grant reimbursement, it has to go back into the the account that is the most particular or whatever. So, and that would be open space with that project versus undesignated.
Good. they're available. It's good. Anything else? Carol, anything
No,
from
thanks.
you? Are you, now, I believe you said you were good with posting past minutes?
Yep, we're up to date. In fact,
All up to date. Good. Good job, Carol. Good.
thanks.
Marcia, anything from you? No? Dave?
How about the only thing is, I'm gonna be starting the mapping project at some point in the next month or so. It's always a lot of fun. But I gotta check with every office to find out what the status is of the, you know, of what data I have to collect to put it together, but.
Wait a
I'll
minute,
try to have it together.
mapping project, what do you mean?
The maps that I show on Google Earth and so forth,
Okay,
I go back every year and recreate them with the latest data.
oh, okay,
And part of last year's project was trying to make it so that it was easy to do, and that was gonna be the experiment year, or the beta test of whether
yeah,
that concept works. But you still gotta collect the data from assessor's office and from tax and, you know, the tax collector,
okay.
and for all the back, you know, other stuff that's involved in it.
Well, if you do speak to Gail MacLear, if
Mhm.
you could ask her, you know, what's happening with the properties that we were concerned with, if she's has any, you know, what's an update from
What-
her
well,
as to
what- yeah,
what's
right.
happening?
I'll
Okay.
ask her what she's working on. I mean, they ran into trouble down there, fine, you know, Carly got moved in as the director of assessing. But then her assistant went off on maternity leave. So she's alone in the office again, except for when Gail's there. So,
Wow.
you know, progress gets slow. There's always a wrench thrown in there. So I don't know. But in Gail's new, you know, as Gail's role, that she's focused on not necessarily just our stuff. I mean, their objectives are to get as many owners unknown properties onto the tax roll. That was the last I heard.
Right,
To get those on the tax roll so they can start paying
Sure.
tax. Whether, even if they gotta go back 150 years to identify a piece, you know, an owner and start the heirs of blah, blah, blah. In fact, I just passed Carly one this, last week that I discovered by looking at various maps that I identified.
wow.
But,
Anything you can find out that might relate to what we're
yeah, right.
specifically
But-
talking
Well, it's
about,
just,
it
you
would
know,
help.
I think once we update the maps, things will pop out or disappear. Well, I'm hoping things will disappear and we start to get some better clarity
Right.
on what's going on. You know, I personally, anything that's pink that doesn't have a parcel ID on it, or, you know, and it's not being taxed, that's number one, to get done.
Okay.
And then the town can start, you know, maybe foreclosing on a tax basis at some point in time.
Right, okay, good, all right. Anything else from anyone? All right, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Seconded?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, thank you all very much.